Mr. Vasquez, have you met Dalia? Introduce you. Okay. How are you? Wanted to introduce you to Commissioner Vasquez. She's the commissioner in the north side, so she has, oh, did I look somewhere? Oh, she couldn't look here. Emma Lozano was going to probably just come to stand with us. So Dalia's going to share her story about her daughter and son-in-law and what happened to them. There's a
Well, now.
Oh, really? Yeah. She's a U.S. born citizen.
Thank you for sharing your story and doing it publicly. That's so important. I know that it's very Yes.
Yeah. But thankfully, yeah.
Anybody else go through that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming.
I was saying it's just like the Baptist school journeys where we're all rotating.
Hi.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Just hoping to find somebody from my staff to take my bag, but it doesn't look like they're here. Thanks. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
What's up? Me español es muy malo.
Muy mal. No está tan. Hi, how are you? Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, how are you?
All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Before I get started, I want to thank President Toni Preckwinkle for her support. I would also like to thank my chief co-sponsor, Commissioner Alma Anaya, as well as a special thank you to Commissioners Frank Aguilar, Scott Britton, Josina Merida, Maggie Trevor, and Bill Lowry for joining us today. Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, how's this? Good? All right. Today we stand together in support of a resolution I introduced in July that speaks to both our values and our responsibility as a county. Cook County has long been a welcoming county, committed to fairness and equality for all of our residents. But under the Trump administration, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has carried out operations that undermine these values. ICE agents have used increasingly deceptive tactics, appearing in plain clothes, driving unmarked cars, and refusing to show warrants. In Cook County, they've even targeted immigrants at our courthouses, punishing those who are simply trying to follow the legal process. These actions erode the due process rights we all deserve, and you will hear examples of that harm from our speakers today. This resolution condemns ICE's increasingly dangerous tactics under the Trump administration and calls on county agencies to provide commissioners with official communication whenever immigration enforcement takes place in our buildings, on county property, or with our staff. Transparency saves lives. Knowing whether ICE agents are present in our county spaces gives our residents the ability to make informed and safe decisions. I urge my colleagues to join me in passing this resolution and to stand firm with our immigrant communities to make it clear that in Cook County, everyone deserves dignity and safety. Brevemente voy a hablar en español, luego voy a pasar a la persona siguiente. Hoy nos unimos en apoyo a una resolución que presenté junto a la comisionada Alma Anaya en julio. Esta resolución denuncia tácticas engañosas de ICE y exige comunicación oficial cada vez que ocurra una acción de inmigración en propiedades o edificios del condado para que nuestros residentes puedan tomar decisiones adecuadas. La información puede salvar vidas. Pido a mis colegas que aprueben a esta resolución y reafirmen que en el condado de Cook todos merecen dignidad y seguridad. I would now like to welcome up Madam President Toni Preckwinkle.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd like to begin by thanking Commissioner Vasquez and Commissioner Anaya for their leadership in bringing forward this important resolution. I also want to thank our colleagues on the Board of Commissioners for standing with us and with the immigrant communities. I'm grateful for the commissioners who are here, who Commissioner Vasquez has already identified. We're grateful that you're showing your support. Cook County is home to more than 5 million people, many of whom came here to build a better life for themselves and for their families. Actually, 21% of our population is foreign-born. As a welcoming county, we remain committed to ensuring that every resident feels safe, respected, and valued. Immigrant families that work and live in Cook County contribute greatly to our economy, to our culture, and to our communities. Right now, they're under attack, and it's being led by our own federal government, disgracefully. The deceptive and aggressive tactics used by federal immigration agents undermine our commitment to being a welcoming county and have left families torn apart. Residents following legal processes to become citizens have been detained. Even U.S. citizens have been subjected to harassment and unfair treatment. These practices create fear in our neighborhoods and erode trust in law enforcement. Plainclothes agents, unmarked cars, and the refusal to provide identification are not hallmarks of transparency or accountability. Instead, they raise the risk of abuse, intimidation, and impersonation. This is unacceptable. I want to take a moment to acknowledge a recent tragedy in Cook County in which ICE agents targeted a man named Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. This is in Franklin Park. Silverio was fatally shot by ICE agents. According to news reports, he had no criminal record. He was a father and a loved one, and his death is both senseless and unjust. I ask that we remember Silverio and stand in solidarity with our undocumented neighbors. We cannot tolerate injustice or the inhumane treatment of people who come to our communities seeking safety and the opportunity to build a better life for their families. We call for congressional oversight and accountability to ensure that federal agencies act within the bounds of the law and respect the rights of all people. I'm proud to join Commissioner Vasquez and Anaya in support of this resolution. Together we affirm that Cook County is and will remain a fair and welcoming county for all. I want to acknowledge Commissioner McCaskill, who has joined us as well, and I'd like to introduce now Commissioner Anaya.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to take a moment to really appreciate you and your leadership. I've been, working at the county in one shape or another for 14 years already. And Madam President, the past 15 years, you have done great work. I was actually here when the ICE detainer ordinance was passed in 2011 and saw your leadership and what that really meant to the immigrant community and Cook County as a whole. So I want to acknowledge you for that. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Alma Naya, and I serve as the Cook County Commissioner of the 7th District, which is the southwest side of the city of Chicago. I represent one of the largest immigrant communities in the Midwest, and there are no words to express how horrified I see the actions from the federal government. Since January 20th, the current federal administration has unleashed fear and trauma throughout our communities. I mentioned where I serve, and Operation Midway Blitz terrorized this community. That is in my district. We saw families being ripped apart. We saw individuals for either selling flowers or waiting for the bus be targeted and literally ripped from the streets without any background, any criminal background. So as you can note, this is extremely devastating. Public spaces such as schools, courthouses, and even forest preserves are being used as staging grounds for deportation or in these operations. The presence of ICE agents inside and around county property is deeply troubling and directly undermines our ability to ensure justice and safety for our residents. I want to highlight that there's been so many cases that in Cook County we've seen the courts be utilized as a place to just target people of color and Latinos just to be detained and ripped away from their families. This is why we introduced this resolution, because we know knowledge has been and will always be our strongest defense. Now more than ever, we must keep strong lines of communication open between local government and community. Notifying commissioners of the presence of ICE agents means that we can connect directly to folks on the ground whose mission is to inform, to educate, and to protect. Cook County is a sanctuary county, and we are proud of our history in protecting and uplifting all immigrant communities. Thank you to the tireless advocates that keep watch and stand ready to defend our immigrant community. I want to also thank, obviously, Chief Sponsor, Commissioner Jessica Vasquez for partnering up with my office in doing this very strong statement, but also the commitment into it, getting information from the different stakeholders. Also, Public Defender Mitchell, who was one of the first to notify us about these instances in our courthouses. I know that he will be here a little later and will be able to share their perspective through the criminal justice system. And of course, I want to thank the fellow commissioners that stand with us today. I will now offer a few remarks in Spanish.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Alma Naya y es un honor para mí servir como la comisionada del condado de Cook del 7º distrito. Yo represento el lado del suroeste de la ciudad de Chicago y yo orgullosamente como inmigrante represento una de las comunidades de inmigrantes más grandes de este estado. No hay palabras para expresar lo que hacen las acciones del gobierno federal, el temor que ha creado, el miedo y el trauma. Espacios públicos como escuelas, las cortes criminales e incluso nuestras reservas forestales han sido utilizadas para realizar deportaciones o para hablar sobre las acciones que van a tomar. La presencia de los agentes de ICE dentro y alrededor de los edificios del condado es muy preocupante y afecta nuestra capacidad de garantizar justicia y seguridad para todos nuestros residentes. Por eso presentamos esta resolución, porque sabemos que el conocimiento siempre ha sido nuestra defensa más fuerte. Ahora más que nunca debemos mantener abiertas las líneas de comunicaciones entre el gobierno local y la comunidad. Notificar a los comisionados sobre la presencia de agentes de ICE significa que podremos contactar directamente a grupos cuya misión es informar, educar y proteger. El condado de Cook es un condado santuario y estamos orgullosos de nuestra historia en la protección y elevación de nuestras comunidades inmigrantes. Quiero dar gracias a todos los defensores que están listos para defender a nuestras comunidades inmigrantes, a la presidenta Toni Preckwinkle, a la comisionada Vázquez y a todos los comisionados que están aquí hoy día. Now I'd like to welcome Fred from the Fred Sal. Oh, Sharon, thank you. Our public defender is here, and just want to acknowledge State Representative Lillian Jimenez had joined us, and also Commissioner Bridget Degnan. Yes, we'll have our public defender, Sharon Mitchell, join us now.
Thank you so much for having me. Yep. Okay. Good morning. My name is Sharon Mitchell Jr. As I work as the Cook County Public Defender, I want to thank the President and the Commissioners for having me here today. I also want to thank my colleagues at the Public Defender's Office for their work on the front lines in a truly embarrassing time in our country's history. But despite that embarrassing time, are committed to protecting their clients' constitutional rights. Here's the story. We have plainclothes federal agents popping up at multiple courthouses, sometimes masked, sometimes not, refusing to state what agency they work for, sometimes arresting people, sometimes not, hardly ever showing a valid warrant, getting into conflicts with staff members, taking people away in unmarked vehicles, community members not knowing where their loved ones are going. Sometimes it's happening before court, sometimes it's happening during court, sometimes it's happening after court. Whatever your stance on immigration is, these actions should be deeply concerning to anyone who cares about justice and transparency. It's creating a deeply disturbing situation for the physical safety of our clients and witnesses and people on both sides of the criminal legal system, for employees, anyone who chooses to gather at what should be public spaces. The criminal legal system is built on the proposition that people can come to the court system and resolve their conflicts without conflict, safely. It's a key tenet of what makes us a great country. But the current actions are actively working to break that. It should be obvious that seeing people in anonymous armed vehicles or anonymous armed individuals sitting inside of vehicles will have an impact on our court's functions, and they have. And that's been especially relevant for those seeking, for those experiencing domestic violence and are seeking safety from the court. This is not normal, and these actions aren't isolated. They come on the heels of what we can only presume were individuals impersonating federal law enforcement at our northernmost offices, asking questions about the presence of Middle Eastern staff members. We've seen members of our staff threatened by ICE and other federal officials for engaging in constitutionally protected documentation of arrests and abductions, even outdoors. It's clear that ICE and federal agents are retaliating to avoid accountability. These disruptive and harmful federal actions must stop. We are calling on lawmakers and stakeholders, and we are so proud to be standing with the individuals behind me. We hope that people can use all of their levers to stop these actions from happening. I have faith that we'll get through the situation. And we will get through the situation based upon the hard work of the leaders behind me, but also the incredible organizing community who has fought every single day, put their bodies on the line to protect themselves and their communities. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank them for their work. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, President Preckwinkle. My name is Fred Sao. Last name is T as in Thomas, S-A-O. I'm the Senior Policy Counsel with the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, ICIRR. And on behalf of ICIRR, we are proud to share our support for Resolution 253451, introduced by my friend and former colleague, Commissioner Jessica Vasquez. Over the past several months, our county, our region, and our entire country have seen a dramatic increase in immigration enforcement activity. This activity has involved agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, as well as numerous other federal agencies, often disguising their faces and otherwise failing to clearly identify themselves. We've seen ICE agents arrest people at immigration court dates after their cases get dismissed. We've also seen ICE call people in for irregular check-ins and arrest them there. ICE has also arrested people at county courthouses, as Public Defender Mitchell has described, here in Cook County and elsewhere, including at least 2 arrests at the domestic violence court within the past several weeks. These operations have accelerated over the past 2 weeks as ICE has specifically targeted the Chicago area. ICE has grabbed people off the street, outside of their homes, and at their work sites. In at least 2 incidents this past weekend, they arrested parents while they were driving their families, leaving their minor children to fend for themselves. And as President Preckwinkle described, this past Friday, an ICE agent shot and killed Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. Let me say his name again, and let's all say his name. Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, a father whom ICE stopped on the streets of Franklin Park and gunned down as he was driving away. Videos posted online since then cast doubt on ICE's account of the incident, and ICE remains unaccountable for this incident and all of the other harm that they've inflicted on our community. Our neighbors should not need to fear that they will be arrested by masked federal agents while working, spending time with their families, or otherwise carrying on with their lives. We urge the entire county board to support this resolution and any further steps our county officials can take to protect all of our communities from federal overreach and abuse, and to truly make our county welcoming for all. Thank you. I'd like now to introduce Commissioner Frank Aguilar.
Thank you, and I want to thank Madam President Tony Preckwinkle and my colleagues. And how much? 2 inches. Back. All right. How's that? Good. All right, Frank Aguilar, 16th District, mainly the western suburbs. I'd like to thank Madam President Tony Preckwinkle and my colleagues on the board here and everybody here to support our immigrant population. This is a very scary time for many of our Cook County residents, and I've affirmed that I will recommit to fight for your rights, residents, being residents of the United States in every capacity that we have. All people on American soil have the right and protections regardless of immigration status. It is critical for elected officials and stakeholders to be visible and clear to our constituents that we have to protect the rights under the Constitution of the United States, and we have the tools and knowledge and the resources to make sure that safety handle interactions with the federal agents and federal immigration agents. Unfortunately, the Trump administration and ICE enforcement agents have no interest in protecting our communities or rights of our residents. As the recent events in Franklin Park and the unjust death of Severio Villegas Gonzalez, again, the unjust death, nothing short than murder, of Severio Villegas Gonzalez, a father, a brother, and a member of our community. And in Cicero, an unjust when they picked up the parents and left some children unattained. As the recent events in those communities all over Cook County have shown that ICE agents' actions are done to create fear and chaos. ICE actions undermine our communities' faith and trust in law enforcement, and innocent people pay and are put in danger. If ICE really wanted to help our communities, they would ensure members of their team to practice de-escalation tactics and speak Spanish or the language that they need to communicate on what's going on without creating fear and confusion. These events change the narrative we hear repeatedly about rounding up criminals and demonstrate that fear-mongering and causing chaos are the true intentions of these actions. ICE is not here to detain violent criminals, but to make members of our community and their loved ones fear and feel unsafe and scared in their lives. I know federal agents. In the past, I worked with them. They know exactly where the criminals are. They do intelligence investigation, and they go find them without creating chaos. This is not about criminals. This is about causing chaos, and it's strictly nothing short than terrorizing our community. Immigrants continue to strengthen our economy by growing businesses, creating jobs in Cook County. Immigrants have been tireless leaders, not only in securing their own rights and access to equal opportunities, but have also campaigned to create a fairer and more just society for all Americans. The Trump administration is reckless, attacks and drastic efforts to the health of our communities and those who live in it. Families throughout suburban Cook and the city of Chicago have been affected by law enforcement agents targeting immigrants, including undocumented residents, and also U.S. citizens. Asylum seekers, immigration raids perpetuate persuasive fear within Cook County, sow distrust in law enforcement, and raise concerns regardless of civil rights violations. Thank you very much. Just a couple of words in Spanish. Eso no se trata de buscar criminales, como dicen. Los agentes federales saben dónde están los criminales. Por décadas investigan y buscan los criminales sin causar caos. Este es nada corto del terrorismo a nuestra comunidad. La gente inmigrante nos viene aquí a trabajar y contribuir a nuestra comunidad. Thank you very much. I'd like to now bring up my colleague, Josina Morita. Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Good morning. My name is Josina Morita. I'm Cook County Commissioner of the 13th District, representing the north side and the north suburbs of Cook County. I am proud to be the first Asian American woman to serve on this board. I am 6th generation Chinese American, but I always say that I am proud to be the great-great-granddaughter of undocumented Chinese immigrants. I represent one of the most diverse districts in Cook County with over 100 languages spoken. In the last 8 months, we have seen Asian-owned businesses targeted. We have seen our Middle Eastern communities targeted. I've had to assist neighbors who've been deported, leaving their U.S. citizen children and families behind. To all of our communities, our Haitian, our different African communities, our Middle Eastern communities, our Syrian communities, we've all seen ourselves be targeted. And we want to send the message today that you are us, we are you, and we stand with you, and we will fight for you. And with that, I will introduce Dahlia from the Resurrection Project. Is that right?
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me here. My name is Dalia Rivera Radecki, a resident of Pilsen and a proud retired teacher of 35 years with the Chicago Public Schools. Hear, hear. On May 29, my daughter, Cristina Ramirez, and husband, Sergio Ramirez, were in Detroit, Michigan, looking at a job and were detained by immigration as a result of a wrong turn in their car near the U.S.-Canada border. Sergio was detained for 3 months and decided to self-deport himself after receiving the advice from his attorney. His time in detentions were in a deplorable conditions, sleeping on a steel bed, wearing the same clothes, and horrible canned food. He lost 25 pounds and developed depression, having to take medication there. My daughter, Cristina Ramirez, a U.S. citizen born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, was detained for 3 days. She said she showed them her driver's license, but the Department of Homeland Security and ICE officers accused her of lying and started smiling and laughing. Her conditions were also horrible, sleeping on a wooden table without a pillow or covers and not bathing for 3 days. All this that they both encountered in the hands of immigration has been a big impact in our family. My daughter was violated of her civil rights, detaining her for 3 days. As a U.S. citizen, this should have never happened to her, violating her due process. Sergio Ramirez is a kind, humble, respectful, hardworking individual that came here from Mexico to work. He is not a criminal. He does not have no criminal charges. He has a work permit for 3 years, an Illinois ID with a star, a Social Security card, and a Visa U. But they didn't care and took all this from him. This mass deportation by Trump needs to stop. Families are being ripped apart. Children are traumatized. Our communities are living in fear and uncertainty and suffering. It's disgusting, dehumanizing, living through the consequences of this Trump policy. All this needs to stop. Mr. Trump, we do not need all this happening to our community. Please have mercy and stop all this. Thank you.
We'd like to welcome Commissioner Lowry.
So I'm Bill Lowry. I serve as Cook County Commissioner of the 3rd District. I also serve as Chair of the Health and Hospitals Committee for the Cook County Board of Commissioners, and I serve as Vice Chair of the Cook County Health Board of Directors. This morning I stand in support of my treasured colleagues, Commissioner Vasquez and Commissioner Anaya, as well as 5.2 million residents of Cook County, as we together denounce the increasingly deceptive and callous tactics of ICE agents in its immigration enforcement and call for strong congressional oversight over their activities. While we're calling for federal action, let me also share that we need to be prepared locally here in Cook County as a template for public sector entities as well as private sector entities. Let me share how Cook County Health has prepared should ICE officials show up at our doorstep. We will ask the agent to wait in the lobby. We will ask for the agent's identification, and we will write down the identification information. We will not consent to any activity on Cook County Health premises. We will contact the Cook County Hospital Police. We will contact the facility manager on duty administrator at the hospital or clinic. We will contact the Cook County Health Legal Department. We will not release any patient information. We will remain calm, and we will remain professional, and we will not allow anyone to enter a patient care area unless we are directed to do so by the CCH Police, the on-duty administrator, or Cook County Health Legal. I always say that the role of a Cook County Commissioner is to take on the issues of today while building a bridge for a better tomorrow. Well, in this moment, we must together build that bridge as we protect all 5.2 million residents of Cook County, as we protect the communities throughout Cook County, and as we protect each and every individual here in Cook County. Thank you. Thank you. I now ask Vanessa Mendoza, Cicero community member, to come to the mic.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Vanessa Mendoza, and I'm an early childhood educator in Cicero. I'm also a niece, a daughter, and a lifelong resident of Cicero. This past summer, my aunt was pulled over by undercover agents. No clear badges, no explanations. That same day, I went to the Town of Cicero board meeting and spoke directly with President Larry Dominic. And instead of finding support, I was met with silence. To this day, I have not heard back from any board member or elected officials from the town. What happened, a simple traffic stop, quickly turned into my aunt, a U.S. citizen, being asked about her citizenship and how long she's been living in the United States. Since the video that was shared, I've endured a lot of hateful comments and lies that's meant to discredit me. But more than that, I've received messages and questions from residents. Is it safe to leave my house? What if with my children? What if my family gets separated? Who will protect us? While some neighbors were celebrating Mexican Independence Day freely with flags, music, joy, others stayed home and were too afraid to take part, fearful of what might happen if they stepped outside. These fears are not limited just in Cicero. They run throughout Cook County. We see families separated, children wondering if their parents will come home, and still many remain with no answers. I now serve with the mental health agency, Un Nuevo Despertar, to help residents heal. I also participate in a financial literacy campaign so that families have the tools to build stability. These actions are my way of standing with my neighbors, even when our local government remains silent. I want to express my gratitude to Frank Aguilar, runner-up Democratic Committee person Diana Garcia, and former Congress Luis Gutierrez, who reached out to me and my family as soon as the incident occurred. And of course, other Cook County commissioners and officials for sharing Know Your Rights information, helping people know how to protect themselves, offering guidance, and showing that some in power are listening. Cook County residents deserve more than fear. We need mental health support, transparency, accessible resources, and workshops that take place when working families can attend. This is about whether Cook County will be a place where families can live, work, celebrate, and raise children without fear of being stopped, silenced, or separated. Thank you.
Before we turn to questions, I would like to acknowledge Arise Chicago, specifically Moises and his team, who have been supportive of our communities long before the Trump administration. So thank you so much, Arise Chicago, for coming. Do we have any questions?
You guys mentioned the 2 arrests at the domestic violence courthouse. Wondering if there has been any more.
What we have seen is potential activity. There were some agents outside of the domestic violence courthouse, I believe, last week, but we do not have information. Monday. I'm so sorry, Monday. But we do not have information confirming that an individual was detained. The spirit of this resolution is to have that communication so that we are able to verify and debunk rumors.
About this resolution, can you clarify, is it in the making of being passed? It's been passed already? I know you introduced it in July.
Yeah, so we are going to have it heard in the Human Relations Committee today, and then it will be up for a floor vote tomorrow.
Since July, have you had any conversations with other separately elected officials in the courts or elsewhere? Are they on board with this? And as they kind of develop similar policies to what Cook County Health has done to notify folks in charge?
Yeah, so I believe, and I think Commissioner Naya can add to this as well. So each separately elected official has different protocols in place around external communications and internal communications. We met with the Sheriff's Office recently to discuss different ways that we can collaborate around confirming or debunking ICE activity. So they have been in conversations with us. They give us phone calls. The forest preserves, they are also now texting us when they receive confirmed activity on the premises. And so we have seen separately elected offices begin to take these measures. We're hoping with this resolution we can have conversations with the separately elected offices to ensure that they have protocols in place so that we can continue to move together. I personally believe it's in the self-interest of every separate elected official to make sure that due process is being upheld.
The only thing I'll add is that we have met with individual independently electeds, not all of them, but we have. We have made it very clear that this is a priority to us because we understand, specifically in the court systems, how this really prevents justice. Think of individuals that are seeking help in the domestic violence courthouse. Think of individuals that are witnesses in a case. How many folks may not be attending? So we have voiced that this is of utmost priority to ensure the safety and well-being of all residents, and this just doesn't impact just undocumented individuals. It impacts the justice of every single resident. It impacts health and public health in a different way, and also just hearing that forest preserves lands may be used also as a space in which they are debriefing. It impacts even just plain joy of being able to access some of our spaces. So it seems like the independently electeds are talking to us. They agree that more communication needs to happen, and they have committed to working with us. The last thing I'll say about this is I want to give a big shout out to the Justice Advisory Council and Madam President, because they are also convening conversations, and they're also having taking steps forward to getting everyone aligned to doing the right thing and ensuring that communication is flowing to us as well.
I know Ms. Mendoza talked about a need for information about people knowing their rights and what to do if they're approached by someone who claims to be a federal agent. Maybe President Preckwinkle or someone else can speak to what the county is doing. I know the city's just launched a website with a lot of that information. If you all could speak to what the county is doing and is working on toward that aim.
Did you want to address that, or do you want to?
Because I
Okay, yeah.
I can't speak.
Yeah, so I think a lot of us have taken the step in ensuring that information is flowing. We have worked with ICER. Thank you, ICER, for a lot of their palm cards that they're doing. They are ensuring that all commissioners have it. We actually were coordinating canvases as well in our districts to do door hangers with information. I think right now it is important for everybody to know their rights, to understand their civil liberties and rights, and ensuring that communication. A lot of our partners are helping Cook County in framing that. And Commissioner Laurie highlighted the fact that in Cook County Health, they have been having meetings with ICER and other stakeholders that are able to kind of help educate not only the personnel, but also people coming to us to know exactly, what to expect, what may look strange, and to know their rights overall.
And just to add to that, I believe that this resolution is a starting point. I'm hopeful we'll have more conversations on how to bolster and strengthen support for our immigrant community, which again is incredibly diverse. It's not just Latino community. And then very quickly, just to reiterate what a lot of folks are already saying, if you think you see something, the best number to call is the ICER hotline, which is 855-435-7693.
Yeah, many flyers have been distributed throughout the county with our colleagues knowing their rights in Spanish and English and other languages. I have a Facebook Live that's currently going right now. I worked with Rise Chicago and the Resurrection Project and ICER. and putting it together in Paso. So we work with many local organizations to make sure that our residents are informed on what to do just in case they confront ICE. And I also want to say one thing, it's also causing businesses. I eat a lot out. Many local restaurants are suffering. Revenue, tax revenue is really declining, and I talked to several chambers of commerce, and we're really concerned about that.
To that point, if I may follow up, what has been the impact from the restaurants you've talked to about people working for them?
The fear, many don't show up to work. Just the fear that's affecting the entire community. And restaurant owners, retail owners are just scared, and they're losing revenue. And that revenue goes to the county and to local communities.
We have time for one more question, and then a couple of us can stick around a little longer. Pues yo voy a empezar y luego mi colega comisionada Alma Anaya también puede hablar sobre eso. Pero lo que nosotros estamos escuchando es que hay agentes que están apareciendo afuera de las cortes. Hay unas ocasiones donde entraron a las cortes y creo que hace unas semanas también arrestaron a una persona que estaba adentro de los cortes. Sí estamos viendo los agentes en nuestra área, sí estamos viendo los agentes en los cortes. Lo que esta resolución quiere hacer es que nosotros podemos tener esa información para nosotros decirle a nuestros residentes qué está pasando, si es verdad que ocurrió lo que las personas están diciendo en las redes sociales. Entonces, hemos visto a los agentes, nosotros estamos trabajando con las diferentes oficinas para ver si podemos tener esa información antes que el público se entere.
Claro, sí, hemos visto casos donde hemos visto agentes de ICE en las cortes de violencia doméstica. Esto es algo muy importante de recalcar, que esto no debe de ocurrir. Si alguien está yendo a las cortes porque necesitan ayuda, es porque tienen la confianza que las cortes van a hacer algo para proteger a esa persona. No deben de tener miedo esas personas que quizás puede ser detenida, específicamente porque muchas de nuestras cortes, especialmente esa, van niños. Podemos pensar que una mujer con 2 niños puede ir a la corte y tiene ese miedo. Entonces, a veces lo que pasa es que esa persona que es víctima de violencia doméstica, que puede calificar para una U-Visa o para VAWA o algo así, ahora ya no va a ir a las cortes, ya no va a recibir esa ayuda legal. Entonces, recalcamos que estamos haciendo todo lo posible aquí en el condado de Cook para que estas personas se sientan seguras. Y esto es lo que intenta hacer esta resolución. Número 1, estamos diciendo que no es no es una práctica buena, que es una práctica que pone toda nuestra seguridad como en una cuestión de que no vamos a tener esa seguridad. Pero la segunda parte es que sí, tenemos que tener más información, porque nosotros tenemos que avisarle a las personas que quizás tienen miedo o están diciendo que no van a ir porque tienen este otro miedo de inmigración, que pueden ir allí. Tenemos que confirmar si sí son casos reales y sí hemos escuchado que personas han sido detenidas, pero estamos haciendo todo en nuestro poder para proteger a todos los que van a nuestras cortes.
Gracias. All right, thank you, everyone.